Hi, good morning, and it's great to be here, and thank you for TCE and the Technion, a powerhouse of technology and thought leadership, for organizing this conference on a timely, exciting, and very important, highly impactful domain of visual computing. The fact that most of the eyes that watch me and evaluate what I do and what I say are human eyes at this point will be referred to in 5 or 10 years as the old days. I don't know, good old days or not, but the old days, because the world is changing very quickly around this. And the tight collaboration, the partnership between the academia and the industry are not a nice to have, are a must. Because not only that the time between doing research, fundamental research, applied research, to applying it in the industry has gotten shorter. It's actually a reinforcing loop. The capabilities of technology, the new application, are creating opportunity for new research that in terms is feeding the industry, the new products, the new capabilities and technologies. So this tight dialogue and working together is a must, and I'm very glad to see this conference as part of doing just that. And this domain of 3D visual computing is applied in many areas today. And there are some of them here. It could be in drones or robotics or self-driving cars or smart cities with security cameras, or on the other side on head-mounted displays and visual reality and augmented reality and 3D printers. All those are just growing with a very significant rate of change. And even though they look very different, really there are three basic tasks that are here: the in, the compute, and the out, which the work that you're doing and what's going to be discussed fall into some of those categories. There's the acquisition of the 3D image, or acquisition of what's happening out there with 3D images, and could be with others, with radars, if it's cars with lidars and so on. Acquisition of a 3D universe, cleaning it, completing it, because you know what you create something even when you don't see all the sides. Then there's the internal modeling, cleanup, understanding of the 3D universe, and augmenting it, and sometimes even inventing completely new additional 3D models together. And then the projection or materialization of the 3D into the physical world through displays, through holograms, through 3D printing, through others. So there's those three processes. And in those three processes, what is really happening, which is where I titled this, is we're blurring the boundaries between the physical world, the digital space with the 3D modeling and others, and the physical world on the other side. And if in the age of the Mario Brothers 3, those were truly separate worlds, today the worlds are becoming one. And the understanding, the full comprehension of the physical world into the digital world with all its meanings, and the ability to project what's creating in the digital world back onto the physical world, creates really a world, a universe that's comprised out of all of those. And if we're talking about analytics, there's a very useful classification of analytics, that analytics can be looked at as descriptive, which means know what has happened and what is happening. And it is predictive, trying to figure out what is going to happen based on what's happening. And it can be prescriptive, knowing what to do, what actions to take based on what you know that might happen otherwise. So I would like to offer, based on that, that we're really talking about a 3D world within a 6D, 6 dimensions. And 3 dimensions you're going to talk a lot about. The 4th dimension is also obvious, which is time. If an object is here, but it was here before and here before, we know that there's motion, so obviously time is a very important part of the world that we create. That's the 4th one. The 5th one is the properties of those objects. And I saw that there are a couple of lectures on that. But knowing what are the objects, how do they behave, when they get into impact, is a dimension of the 3D world that we're looking. And the sixth dimension is intent. How is intent a dimension of what you're capturing in the 3D world? Well, if you want to be both predictive, knowing what's going to happen if nothing else interferes, and prescriptive, what needs to be done, you also need to understand intents. And intents in the physical space could be just the physical properties, applied physics. You have a metal ball going in, there's inertia, there's an electromagnetic field, where is it going to go? That's part of understanding the 3D world with the dimension of the next moment, understanding physical. But also, if I look at that, it's a car. It has 3D cameras, there's an object on the road. Is that object cardboard? Or is it a sharp metal road? Look, similar, but it has kind of a different implications, both in terms of understanding what it is, as well as the prescriptive aspect. If it's a self-driving car, should you go over it, or should you make the effort to bypass it? And you know that there's a law, a traffic law, that came into effect in Israel last year, that says that a car needs to stop when a pedestrian intends to go onto the road. Not when she starts to go, when a pedestrian intends. How would a self-driving car know that a pedestrian intends to cross the road? Or a kid might run after the ball into the street. You need to have the sixth dimension of understanding intent. Physical, psychological, sociological, because in order to have a full model of the world as it happened, as it is now, and as it's going to happen, you have to have all those six dimensions modeled in the world. And do you need numerical models for psychology of people? Absolutely you do, because the car will need to make a deterministic decision on whether to stop or continue. And I'd like to end with a question that I would like you to raise your hand. I would give you two options. Has the train in the picture just arrived? I will ask who thinks that it just arrived. Please raise your hand then. Or is it about to depart? If you think it's about to depart, raise your hand then. So who thinks it has just arrived? Raise your hand. Okay, I see some hands. Who thinks it's about to depart? All right, the vast majority. Well, there's something here that says about goodbye. It's not going down and so on. There's no movement in this picture. You have added the movement, the notion of time, the next thing that happens, and your and our algorithms application will tell us whether it's about to depart and exactly in what millisecond it will arrive to the next stop. Thank you very much.